Hello everyone, good morning. So today I'm going to talk about an important topic, that is tuberculosis. टीबी एक बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन है जो मेनली आपके लंग्स को अफेक्ट करती है या आफ्टरवर्ड्स इट कैन गो एंड एक्सपैंड इनटू अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ द बॉडी आल्सो. इट इज़ कॉज्ड बाय माइकोबैक्टीरियम tuberculosis bacilli. और ये जो जर्म है वो आपका स्प्रेड होता है थ्रू एयर एंड आपके लंग्स को अफेक्ट कर सकता है जब आप एयर को ब्रीद इन करते हैं. तो इसके जो सिम्टम्स रहते हैं पेशेंट में वो बेसिकली बिकॉज लंग्स आर इन्वॉल्व, सो बेसिकली लंग इन्वॉल्वमेंट के ही सिम्टम्स फर्स्टली अपीयर आते हैं, जिसमें कि पेन होता है चेस्ट में या जब आप ब्रीथ कर रहे होते हैं उस वक्त. कफ होता है, दैट कैन बी क्रोनिक और विद ब्लड, और इट कैन बी ब्लड tinged कफ इन द sputum. And if that cough lasts for more than 2 weeks usually, then it is a suspicion that this patient might be suffering from some lung disease. अगर पेशेंट को होल बॉडी में फटीग या फीवर होता है, देन उन दोज केसेस ऑल्सो पेशेंट को फीवर के साथ लॉस ऑफ एपेटाइट हो सकता है, मेलेस हो सकता है, एक्सेसिव स्वेटिंग या वेट लॉस हो जाता है पेशेंट को, लॉस ऑफ मसल्स रहते हैं विद फ्लैगम एंड शॉर्टनेस ऑफ ब्रेथ एंड स्वोलन लिम्फ नोड्स. नाउ जो पेशेंट है इनके साथ अगर फीवर है तो फीवर्स के साथ पेशेंट को यूजुअली जो फीवर आता है इट इज़ यूजुअली इन द इवनिंग, and since it is a bacterial infection, so the fever will be slightly not very high, but it will increase gradually with time, and उसके साथ पेशेंट को चिल्स भी रह सकते हैं. Now अगर TB spread होता है अदर organs को, then it can lead to diseases such as meningitis, which is an inflammation of the meninges or the lining of the brain. Then it can also lead to Pott's disease, which is basically a tuberculosis of the spinal cord. Then it can affect the adrenal glands on the kidneys, resulting in Addison's disease. It can also cause liver inflammation, resulting in hepatitis infections. And it can lead to scrofula, which is basically the swelling of the lymph nodes in your neck and is commonly grouped as the term scrofula. Now, what are the types of pulmonary tuberculosis or the general tuberculosis? So, as we already talked, that the most common form of TB is the lung TB, which is known as the pulmonary tuberculosis. Now, if this tuberculosis spreads to other parts of the organs, as I have just mentioned above, so in those cases it is known as extrapulmonary tuberculosis. Why? Because it is spreading outside the lung. Third is like if it involves the meninges and causes meningitis or other neural symptoms, and it spreads throughout the whole body, then it is usually termed as miliary tuberculosis. Now, what are the diagnostic features or tests that can be done to confirm that the patient has TB? Now, if the TB of patient, to confirm the TB, the first test that is usually done is a skin patch test, in which antigen known as the tuberculin is injected just below the skin on the inside of the forearm, and within 48 to 72 hours the patient will have a swelling at the site of injection, and which increases, and then that increase is measured to know if the test is positive or negative. Now, if the test is positive, it means that the body's immune system has reacted to that antigen and produced antibodies of TB. However, a positive test so may indicate like it's either latent TB, that means it is not still active, or it could be an active TB infection. Now, people who had tuberculosis vaccination might also have a positive test of skin patch test, but that doesn't mean that the patient is infected. It could be just that due to the vaccination they have a positive test, but otherwise there is no infection present. On the other hand, if the patient has a negative tuberculin patch test, it indicates that the body did not react to the antigen that was injected. And it also necessarily doesn't mean that you don't have the infection. So this is not a completely confirmatory diagnostic test for TB. Next come the various blood tests that are done to see if there is increase in any CBC or white blood cells, or ESR is done to see if the inflammation is present or not, which is chronic in nature. Then X-rays can be done to see if there are irregular patches in the lungs and at one typical of the active TB infection. Then sputum test can also be done to indicate bacterial infections, or it indicates if the patient has any antibiotic resistant bacteria present in the blood test or the sputum test, and if these are also resistant or not, so that the treatment can accordingly be decided later on. Now, other tests that may be done for diagnosis of tuberculosis indicates breath test, urine test, and cerebrospinal fluid test. Now, what is the prevention of this test? Washing your hands thoroughly and often indicates that is important to prevent the spread of the bacilli through the air or through infected items. Then coughing into your elbow or covering your mouth while coughing is important measurement to be done to prevent its spread. Then avoiding close contact with persons who have active tuberculosis should also be maintained as a precautionary measure. Then if there are what are the other treatments or management that can be done for the tuberculosis treatment? So in the case of allopathic treatment, usually anti-tubercular drugs such as rifaximin or other second or third generation antibiotics are usually given for a period of 6 to 7 or 8-9 months depending upon the chronicity of the complaint. Then special dietary meals are needed to help provide nutrition to the person, as because in TB usually patients have loss of weight and muscle loss, and that can further lead to weakness and more severity of the symptoms. Then vitamins are important to increase the immunity of the body. Also probiotics need to be given to the patient, and immunomodulators or immunostimulants need to be given to increase the immunity of the patient. Now, if we speak about the homeopathic management of tuberculosis, we have very good medicines as a preventive measure for patients, especially young children. If they, instead of going for the tubercular vaccination, wants the vaccination in homeopathy, then we also have those medicines available such as bacillinum or tuberculinum that needs to be given every month for a period of 3 to 4 months in varying doses to help develop immunity of the patient or the child towards this disease. Then if the patient has a active or primary infection, in those cases medicines such as Toxoplasma gondii is important. Then if there is due to the tubercular infection, if the patient develops scar tissue or fibrosis, or there is much hardening of the lung tissue, in those cases tuberculinum is a good medicine. Also, if patient wants, there is cachexia of tuberculosis, or there are enlarged glands due to the involvement of the lymph nodes, in those cases one needs to check for any deficiency of minerals such as iodine, and similar medicines such as iodine can be given to the patient depending upon its severity. If the glands are also involved, then sometimes intercurrently we can also give medicines such as Psychotico, which is important in treatment of such patients. Then in case of the inactive form of tuberculosis or the incipient tuberculosis, patients may be given medicines such as Medorinum or Bacillinum depending upon their family history or any other issues they may be having. In cases of young patients who have young pulmonary tuberculosis, medicines such as myositis is important for their treatment. Also, in case of active pulmonary tuberculosis where only the lungs are involved, in those cases medicines such as Sorinum, Pyrogen or Besilinum or other medicines can be given depending upon what the patient's symptoms are. If they are having fever, what is the frequency of the fever, whether it is evening rise of fever, how long the duration of the fever is, and if the fever subsides by itself or only by using of antibiotics. So all those factors has to be taken individually and characterized upon depending upon the patient's individual symptoms and signs, and then prescribed according to that to the patients, like whatever they want and what are their symptoms, or if there is family history in the patient. In those cases also intercurrently some medicines can be given to further treatment of this very infectious disease. So this was a small and brief information about tuberculosis, and we have mentioned about its symptoms, what its causes are. So definitely it spreads through the air or inhalation of the active bacilli, and then what the types are, what are the diagnostic features, what is the preventive measures that need to be taken, and what is the general allopathic mode of treatment that is followed, as well as the homeopathic mode of treatment, which have proved to be very useful to subside the symptoms and treat the patient as a whole and not only on the pathological symptoms. So this was a brief information, and in case you liked the video or got some good information, please like and share, and have a great day. Thank you.